Anna had just been born. Sam was 2 years old. And I needed to go to the mall to get a birthday present for Jimmy. He's not really an uncle, but a very close family friend. We call him Uncle Jimmy. And I decided to leave Anna at home and just take Sam. I thought, oh, this will be easy. You know, I'm used to dragging around my 2-year-old while being 9 months pregnant, or even harder, dragging around a 2-year-old with a newborn baby. But Mike, my husband, was home, so he stayed home with Anna, and I took Sam to the mall.
In the mall, there was a store called Bradley's. It was a clothing store similar to Marshall's or TJ Maxx, and we used to play a game. When we went to this store, where I would hide in the clothing racks while my mom shopped, and she would have a general idea of where I was, but would pretend not to be able to find me, and then eventually she would. I would scream with glee, run off, go hide in a different clothing rack.
And we were walking around, and I came across some insulated cookie sheets, and Uncle Jimmy loves to bake, so I thought, oh, this might be the perfect gift. And it was a relatively new product, so I was looking at the instructions to see how one uses them, and when I looked up, Sam was gone.
For as many years as we'd been going to the mall, I'd always looked at the video arcade very longingly. There was a shooting basketball game in the front that always caught my eye, and my parents, being the frugal and responsible parents that they were, would never ever succumb to any type of begging or whining with regards to trips to a video arcade. So I took matters into my own hands, and instead of going and hiding in the clothing rack as I usually did, I left Bradley's. I wandered off, and Mom assumed we were playing the hide in the clothing rack game, and she thought nothing of it.
I initially thought, oh, he's playing hide and seek. So I called his name, Sam, but he didn't answer, and I peered inside, and I started pushing all the clothes aside. I couldn't find him. At this point, I started to get worried, because Sam was a very, very friendly, talkative 2-year-old. And my heart just started racing. I just started having almost a panic attack, like, oh my God, I've lost my 2-year-old son. Where could he be?
I don't remember at all being uncomfortable or nervous or scared while walking to the arcade. Although once I got there, the collective noise and the music and the lights and the sounds of the games was a little overwhelming, but I knew enough that you needed quarters to play any of these games. So, hoping that my cuteness would work to my advantage, I stood at the front of the arcade and right by the basketball game and asked passersby for quarters so that I could play. And I don't think I got any quarters. I'm not even sure anybody thought it odd that a 3-year-old was, panhandling outside of a video arcade.
So I gathered myself, and I went over to the customer service desk, and I said, excuse me, but I seem to have lost my 2-year-old son. His name is Sam. I just don't know where he is. I can't find him anywhere. And they said, okay, we will look for him. We'll let mall security know, and we will look in the store for him. Why don't you go look in the dressing room? So I went to the dressing rooms, and I looked, and of course he wasn't there. And so I just started wandering the store like a wild woman, calling out, Sam, Sam, in an increasingly louder voice, and people started to look at me as if, like, what's wrong with her? And maybe understanding that I had lost a child and was looking for him.
I can't seem to find my 2-year-old son.
And finally, they said, okay, we found your son. The mall security found him, and they're bringing him to you now. So I ran out of the store and sort of just watched as I saw what seemed like an enormous security guard walking towards me with little Sam holding his hand. I started to cry, and Sam, it didn't bother him at all. He didn't seem to understand why I was so upset. And he came up to me and he said, Mommy, it's okay. And he took his hand and he stroked my hair and he said, it's okay, Mommy, it's okay, don't worry. And I looked at the security guard and I said, where was he? And he said, oh, he was in the arcade. He was asking strangers for quarters so that he could play the basketball game. And I thought, yep, that sounds like Sam. And I thought to myself, okay, that just shortened my life by a few years.
Eventually, a security guard came over, and my mom, just beside herself with fear and sadness, tears streaming down her face, came and gave me a hug, and I told her not to cry, that nothing was wrong. I didn't ask for any quarters, but that might have been a good move at that point in time. I probably could have gotten at least a couple games of basketball out of it. So, next time, I guess.